decisive factor in terms of leading a successful school turnaround. I think for me it comes to like staffing and having the people to do it. I think more than anything, there's only so, especially with turnover, there's the degree of work that needs to happen, and I think we talk about like setting the culture, setting the academic vision, making sure the school-wide systems are in place. Like there's so much that goes in being able to set up a school for success and to successfully turn it around. I think far and away the biggest thing is staffing and having the right people to do it. I am only as effective as the people who I get to work with on this team, and so I think that's been the most decisive factor for us. Having people who are able to execute against, who are invested in the vision, and they're able to execute in terms of the systems, in terms of the structures that we put in place. Because I can have the best laid plans, but if I don't have a team of people with the talent and the ability to execute them, stuff is not going to happen. So I think I spend a ton of time on hiring. I think like getting the right people on the team is a key piece of getting this work right. Area.
How you doing?
And so I think like, and I think for our team too, it was a process, right? I think in year one we didn't have all the right folks on the bus, and so being able to figure out who are the people who are driving and aligned towards that vision, because you can't set up a school for successful turnaround if you're in a boat with a bunch of other folks and some people are rowing in the opposite direction. It very quickly can just deteriorate the whole culture and the whole thing that you're trying to do. So I think that would be one piece I would say is like the hiring is definitely the most decisive factor of just like having the right people on that team. I think in terms of like the biggest challenge for me as a leader of a turnaround school, I'll start along that same lines of like I think human capital is a piece of that, of like being able to find the right people. I think specifically in New Orleans, it's a very competitive market for talent. There's a limited number of teachers. There's a limited number of highly effective teachers, and so being able to get the right folks is a key piece. I think the other challenge is outside of the human capital is also being able to onboard staff and get them to embrace new cultures, new structures. I think for me, like I also have like a vision of like, oh, this is how I want something to run or something to look like. But a big piece of that is like getting the team motivated around doing that. And so a good idea that I have in my head is actually no good if I'm not able to build momentum around it and get the team excited about it and have it executed across the team. So I would say that's a piece of like getting that staff buy-in and really getting people to execute against like our goals. I think what is like for what my day-to-day looks like as a leader in a turnaround school, it's nonstop. It's busy. I don't know that. I think the role of a leader in general, if it's a school turnaround or if it's not a school turnaround, there's just it's constant motion. It's I think responding to the needs of the team, of the teachers, of the students, and I think for me personally, like I like that style of work. I like the fact that like I never have a free moment. I'm constantly in motion. I'm constantly I get a high off of just like there's always something that's happening at any given moment. And so I think for me it is a lot of just like it's constant like people interface and just being able to figure out, okay, what are the needs that folks on the team have, how am I making sure that I'm checking in with the people and having frequent touch points, and that people are well supported. I spend a lot of my day-to-day, I spend a good chunk of my time with folks on my leadership team. There's a lot of just like operational things that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis too, whether it's getting a student and supporting in the moment with student culture. I'm jumping in to observe classes. So it's just kind of like
there's a balance of being able to like plan stuff out over the course of the day, and then knowing that like things are constantly going to change as well.
Cool.